Strategos is a real-time tactics wargame set in classical antiquity. Simulate large-scale battles with over 120 factions and 250 plus units from the ancient world. Create custom battles or take command of historic ones. First up, this is a demo and there's a few tutorial elements to it, so 2 missions essentially with loads of different aspects of teaching you things, and there's also an historical battle that you can do. There will be campaigns to this and a couple of other game modes, but at the moment I was able to spend about half an hour, 45 minutes playing with the features that are there now to give me an idea of this, but I must stress it's far from complete, and this is really just a first impressions and a first opinion on things as things are right now. From the get-go, this reminds me of a Total War game, but it's the real-time battle aspect rather than any map campaign mode that you would normally get in a Total War game. It's kind of in the same layout, but actually I think this game is far more focusing on strategy and the military side very specifically rather than any trade or external resource to the battles themselves. So what I really like about this is it immediately feels immersive. You can tell that because of the amount of detail that's gone into the units. Not necessarily visually, but there's a lot of tooltips that come about with this. So if you were to hover over any of your units, equally some of the enemy units, there's so much information about them along with their names, the weaponry, and lots of statistics in terms of how they're going to fare in combat. And actually, if they are selected, your own troops, if you were to hover over an enemy unit, it will tell you a little bit how they're going to fare against that particular enemy with percentage information and various other statistical bits of data. So this game is clearly going to be very good for somebody who likes to pay attention to statistics to work out a balance of battle and whether or not to pose one unit on another, and just to make those informed decisions. Me, however, I'm kind of in between. I do like stats, but I'm not that into it that I'll base my whole strategy around statistics. I'll still just go with gut feel a lot of the time. There's a lot of different units to play with even at this early stage. There's pikemen, there's cavalry, there's pikemen. Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Lots of heavy shield units, melee units, ranged units, as I've just said. But yeah, there's a broad spectrum at the moment already. There's one particular feature about this that I do feel does need particular and special mention. So in reality, back in the day in the ancient world, you would have a general with his unit of soldiers guarding him, and if they wanted to order a unit which was, say, half a mile away, then of course they would need to send some sort of messenger out to relay the orders. Now, in a lot of games, such as Total War, there's none of that. What you choose to do will happen in real time. But with this, you have an area of command where the other units can hear the general, which would be true. But if anybody is outside of that range, the general will send scout units out to pass orders across to these other units, which I think is fantastic and really does make it a bit more realistic, because that is what would have happened, and I've never seen that done before. Perhaps there are other games like that, but certainly with this, it's the first I've come across it. But I absolutely love that idea. It makes things a bit slower, so if you make a decision to move a unit in a certain way to a certain place to attack a certain other enemy unit, then you have to make sure you're getting that decision right the first time, because if you change your mind or you realise you made a mistake and actually just want to try something else, it's going to take time, potentially, depending on how far away your general is, to get the revised order to them. And that is vital time, because they could be getting their ass kicked by the enemy and you might need to pull them in a different direction, but it could take 2 or 3 minutes for them to actually be able to react to that, and that is a very, very good level of immersion right there. And without really wanting to pick up bad things about this game, obviously it's not a full game here already, so I would just say the visuals aren't brilliant. I mean, you don't necessarily want to play this for graphics anyway because of the good things I've mentioned prior, but I think it doesn't look the best. I can't quite put my finger on it, but when you zoom right in, the units are all passable, the terrain is passable, but it's not great, and I think there is scope to maybe improve those a little bit, polish them. I'm not after state-of-the-art, high-end graphics for this, but just possibly it could and probably should be improved ever so slightly. Overall, though, I think this game has a lot of potential. Once there's a campaign in here, whether or not that then reverts to a map mode like Total War, perhaps. But at the moment, if they just kept it to battles, I'd be fine with that. But this has a lot of potential. It's very exciting, very immersive, very detailed. Let's just make it look a little bit better, and we've got a real game on our hands. I'd be interested to know if anybody else has played this. It's currently a demo, free to play, so if anybody wants to play it or has played it and has some different thoughts to mine, let me know, and yeah, it'd be interesting to read.